Well, Donald Trump is reiterating his praise for the UK's decision. Hillary Clinton's campaign slammed Trump for his response to the vote on Friday, calling Trump an egomaniac and saying he's unfit to be president. Trump's been in Scotland since Friday, visiting one of his resorts, and on Saturday, he fired back at Clinton.
She called Brexit 100% wrong. She was 100% wrong. And she doesn't want to go on camera because she's embarrassed. And Obama called it wrong, too.
Her campaign
She called Brexit 100% wrong, Hillary. And she's embarrassed to go on camera. Hillary Clinton, or as I say, crooked Hillary Clinton, and Barack Obama called it totally wrong. You know what? They call everything wrong.
CBSN political contributor and founding partner of 270 Strategies, Linda Tran, is in our Washington bureau. Linda, thanks for joining us. But before we start, we should disclose that several employees at 270 Strategies do actually work for the Hillary Clinton campaign, but Linda does not. Linda, Donald Trump says that Britain's vote foreshadows a November win for him. What role do you see Britain's vote playing later in the election?
Well, I don't know if it means that he's going to be winning in November. I think that's a long way off, and there are a lot of things that are going to happen between now and Election Day. But I do think that there are some significant lessons to be taken on this side of the Atlantic from the results on Brexit. I mean, first of all, I think that it's very, very clear that on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, there's a real sense of populist frustration with a core of political elite that voters feel like haven't heard their concerns and aren't really working for them. There's this sense that there's a system that isn't working for them. And so I do think that there are lessons to be learned, both for Hillary Clinton and also for Democrats down the ticket, to make sure that they are speaking to the issues that working people are really concerned about here in the United States, whether that's about raising the minimum wage or expanding access to health care or college affordability. So I think that there's definitely a lesson to be taken from all of this.
And Trump's really lashed out on this vote in his campaign messaging, really talking about how Hillary Clinton doesn't have a strategy here. What's his strategy by going after her on Brexit?
Well, Donald Trump knows that he can't really measure up to Hillary Clinton when it comes to an understanding of international diplomacy and the way that the world works, especially given her history as Secretary of State. And so what he's trying to do here is undermine her understanding. That said, you know, you have him standing in front of a gaggle of reporters talking about how triumphant Brexit is, while we're also, as you earlier reported, watching world markets respond in a terrible way. And so ironically, he's kind of highlighting his lack of understanding about the impact of global events and the impact it'll have on the economy.
And Clinton's campaign says that Trump, quote, rooted for this outcome and the economic turmoil in its wake. This reminded us of how she accused Trump of rooting for the housing market crash. Break this down for us. What's Clinton's response to all of this?
Well, Clinton has clearly kind of come into her own in the way that she's been essentially staging takedowns of Donald Trump. And it started, as you point out, Rena, with her talking about him rooting for the housing bubble to burst here in the United States. And in that case, she's using his own words against him. He said, you know, if the housing bubble bursts, that's good for people like me. You can go in and buy things up. You know, in a similar fashion, he's in, you know, the UK right now. And while it's not unusual for candidates to visit international locations while they're running for office, it's usually to meet with world leaders. Yet he was there, you know, hyping his golf course in Scotland. And so part of Hillary Clinton's attack is not only does he not understand how things work, but he's only in it for himself. And this really kind of plays into it.
I got to ask you about Bernie Sanders before we go. He said that he'd vote for Hillary Clinton, but he hasn't gone as far as endorsing her. Do you think that distinction matters at this point in the race?
You know, honestly, I don't, because, you know, the highest level of endorsement really is casting your ballot in favor of somebody. So I think the fact that he's been really public about the stakes and how important it is to defeat Donald Trump, and the fact that he's definitely going to be casting his ballot in favor of Hillary Clinton, kind of says it all.
Okay, Linda Tran in Washington. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.